Chick writing the Arctic report card knows as well as anybody on this planet how fucked we are. That she's fucked. Everybody she knows is fucked. If she has any kids or grandkids, you better believe they're fucking fucked. And then, in the last 90 seconds of this interview about how fucked we are, I just refuse to give up hope. I refuse to give up hope that I'm still optimistic that we're going to rise to the challenge. Pull your fucking head out of your ass. No one's buying your shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna call you a clueless fucking moron. You know goddamn well, woman, how fucked we are. Cut the shit. I was like praying that this interviewer on NPR was just gonna break in and say, lady, cut the fucking shit and level with us. Are we fucked? God, wouldn't that have been a great moment in NPR history? But no, they're just gonna leave it. Let's wait to see the 2019 Arctic report card.
I wouldn't say that it's too late. I am not ready to give up hope.
And then, of course, they get to the closing, the closing 90 seconds or 2 minutes, and either on NPR and they put on the little fucking jack-off happy ending. This out of fucking nowhere, this woman, the lead author, or one of the, she's either the lead or one of the authors of the Arctic report card, and knows goddamn well how fucked we are. The woman knows goddamn well we're fucked. We're not pulling out of this. It's not a matter anymore of if humans and every other species of Earthling we share the planet with are going extinct. It's only a matter of when.
I don't want to send a message of give up hope. I think there should be optimism that we should continue to try to kind of turn things around and go back.
And then, of course, they get to the closing, the closing 90 seconds or 2 minutes, and even they're on NPR, and they put on the little fucking jack-off happy ending. This out of fucking nowhere, this woman, the lead author, or one of the, she would do the lead author, well, one of the authors of the Arctic report card, and knows goddamn well how fucked we are. The woman knows goddamn well we're fucked. We're not pulling out of this. It's not a matter anymore of if humans and every other species of Earthling we share the planet with are going extinct. It's only a matter of when.
I wouldn't say that it's too late. I am not ready to give up hope.
And this doomer chick writing the Arctic report card knows as well as anybody on this planet how fucked we are. That she's fucked. Everybody she knows is fucked. If she has any kids or grandkids, you better believe they're fucking fucked. And then in the last 90 seconds of this interview about how fucked we are, I just refuse to give up hope. I refuse to give up hope that I'm still optimistic that we're going to rise to the challenge. Pull your fucking head out of your ass. No one's buying your shit. I'm not going to call you a clueless fucking moron. You know goddamn well, woman, how fucked we are. Cut the shit. I was like praying that this interviewer on NPR was just going to break in and say, "Lady, cut the fucking shit and level with us. Are we fucked?" God, wouldn't that have been a great moment in NPR history? But no, they're just going to leave it. Let's wait to see the 2019 Arctic report card.
I don't want to send a message of give up hope. I think there should be optimism that we should continue to try to kind of turn things around and go back.
Trump administration advisor Wells Griffith was heckled by activists this week when he advocated for coal and natural gas at the UN Climate Change Summit in Poland.
And fossil fuels will continue to play a leading role.
World leaders at that summit are debating whether to embrace the findings of the International Panel on Climate Change's devastating report from October. The IPCC report predicts that the impact of climate change could be drastic and irreversible as early as 2040. But the U.S. is joining oil-producing countries, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Russia, in saying that negotiators should simply take note of those findings and not welcome or endorse them. Well, meanwhile, another dire warning on the impacts of climate change was released last night. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's 2018 Arctic Report Card says that the Arctic has experienced the most unprecedented transition in history in terms of warming temperature and melting ice. and that those changes are having cascading effects on climate and weather around the globe. Lead editor on that report is Emily Osborne. She joins us from the American Geophysical Union's annual conference in D.C., where the Arctic Report Card was unveiled yesterday. Dr. Osborne, thank you. And I don't want to be flip, but it sounds like a giant F on the world's response to these concerns.
So we don't actually give the Arctic a grade, despite its name, the Arctic Report Card. But yeah, we're continuing to see a lot of these long-term changes in the Arctic. So each year we report on things like surface air temperature. So we had the second warmest air temperature across 2018 in the Arctic. As you said, our record started in the year 1900. Very warm seas in the Arctic, particularly the northern Bering Sea was a really interesting place where a story unfolded in 2018 for us.
The northern Bering Sea, others are calling this the big story in ice this year. Why? What happened there?
So what we saw was that leading up to the winter time, we had these very, very warm sea surface temperatures, which preconditioned the ocean to not allow for sea ice to form in the Bering Sea the way that it has in years past. And so throughout the entire ice period over the winter, we saw the lowest ice extent ever recorded for the Bering Sea. And that's had pretty big implications for the entire marine ecosystem there.
We're hearing that the Bering Sea lost an area of ice the size of Idaho.
That is correct.
So what? First of all, back us up, because we've been hearing for years now. We've been seeing the pictures of polar bears stranded on ice floes surrounded by water. We know the Arctic is losing ice. Remind us, first of all, why it means so much to the global environment when instead of snow-covered white ice, we have water.
So we were talking earlier about why the Arctic warming at twice the rate the rest of the globe is. And so one of the big reasons of why the Arctic is warming like that is because we're seeing these white reflective surfaces not there anymore.
Not reflecting.
They're not reflecting that sunlight back and that energy back into the atmosphere. And instead, it's absorbing it. And that's just causing this runaway effect, and for more ice, more snow to continue melting as we have this more heat being able to absorb into these dark surfaces.
And those dark surfaces, the waters are heating up because of that. And what does it mean that instead of having ice that just builds on itself, old ice, we have no ice or new ice? Why is old ice so important?
Old ice is so important because it's really resistant to melting. And so when observations started back in the 70s, we had about 16% of the ice cover in the Arctic was very old or more than 4 years old. And this year we're seeing that in the Arctic, less than 1% of the Arctic ice pack is very old multi-year ice. And that just means that ice, that single year, that first year ice is much more prone to melting. And so we're seeing just more and more melt happening as a result of that change.
And that 1% of the Arctic ice that's ice pack this year is a decline of 95% over the last 33 years. So you're seeing these accelerating problems. And what else are the issues? Okay, we hear about the warming seas. That's a big deal in and of itself. But those are producing the toxic algae that we see in places like Florida, but it's up there in the Arctic?
Correct. So this is something that we featured this year in the Arctic Report Card. It's emerging as this new, really big issue that we've been focusing specifically in the Bering Strait this year. It's a really big concern to the communities that live off of the ocean, that go out, that harvest clams, that eat walrus. And these animals are consuming these harmful algal blooms and concentrating these toxins in the tissue that these communities are harvesting and eating. And because we don't have commercial fisheries in the Arctic, that walrus and these clams that are being harvested by subsistence hunters are not considered commercial. There's no mandated regulation for the U.S. to provide any sort of testing or monitoring for these harmful algal blooms in this area. And so essentially what Alaska has to say is just don't eat this food. And the ocean is really the grocery store for the people that live on the coast in Alaska. They can't just go to Harris Teeter and buy things to make a salad. It's just not really an option for them.
Right. Well, so it has this very local effect, but of course nothing's local when it comes to the ocean and it comes to the food chain. Eventually things spread. And that includes weather. Now, explain to us, we had this huge spike in cold temperatures here in New England. In Europe, they had that, what they call the beast from the east, that cold spell. And we understand that it has to do with, everything you're describing is making the jet streams wobbly, so they're not allowed to act as the lasso that they can be to lasso the cold air and keep it up in the Arctic North. Explain what's happening.
That is correct. So the way that the jet stream works is that it moves in a very straight path very quickly when the Arctic is very cold and the lower latitudes are warmer. So we have this temperature difference that allows for that path of the jet stream to move very quickly and in a very straight fashion. And so as the Arctic is warming at this really rapid rate, the jet stream is in fact slowing down. And as it slows, it creates these wobbles, as you had mentioned. And so when we have this wavy jet stream pattern, we have these really different air masses reaching different parts of the globe. And so if we have a wiggle that brings in warm air from where we live up into the Arctic, we're going to see heat waves happening in March, as we did in 2018, where we have 20 degrees Celsius temperatures warmer than usual. And then at the same time, that wobble is going to bring those cold temperatures, that Arctic air surge, down into the lower 48.
Yeah. Look, the report uses phrases like uncharted territory, rapid unraveling of the Arctic region. Is it too late?
I wouldn't say that it's too late. I am not ready to give up hope. There are changes that I believe that we can make to stop the direction that we are moving in.
With emissions?
I think emissions is, in my personal opinion, one of the biggest things that we really need to work on curbing. But again, I think that is something that's going to take years for us to get on the right path. But at the same time, in the meantime, with this information, I think that we're armed with the best knowledge to try to build resilient communities, build adaptive communities, so that these people that live on the coast, that are in the Arctic, that are really being faced with this change, kind of like the ground zero of climate change, that they are armed with as much information as possible to try to protect their communities, to protect their livelihood, and to really just continue in the best way that they can.
Well, just real quick, you said it's going to take years. The UN devastating report said we have till 2040 before we see some irreversible damage. How many years do you think we have when it comes to the Arctic?
I think that's really hard to say. I don't know if anyone could really put a number on it. The system, as I've said, is just changing very rapidly. Particularly the Bering Sea is one of the places that is just changing in such an incredibly rapid way that scientists who have been working in the Bering Sea for their entire careers, 30, 40 years, just weren't anticipating seeing in their career, in their lifetime. And so I don't want to send a message of give up hope. I think there should be optimism, that we should continue to try to kind of turn things around and go back.
That's Dr. Emily Osborne, lead editor on the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's NOAA's 2018 Arctic Report Card. Dr. Osborne, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you become sort of numb to these reports? Does each sound like the last one, or is this one maybe standing out for you? Let us know. hereandnow.org.
Hi guys, it is a blah winter night here in the end times in the shithole town of Austin, Texas, here on this gloomy Wednesday night, December 12th, 2018. Are you shaking your hat off again? Anyway, I should be at a picking party and a potluck with my clueless, lovable friends in South Austin, but this damn Christmas tree light job is hammering my brain. It's just, I mean, guys, it's taking a serious fucking toll on my life. I don't know if I'm done with it, if I have one more day or 2 more days I've reached my limit. So I don't know what's going on with the fucking Christmas tree job for the Optimus Club. Good fucking God. But anyway, I'm gonna put this little dog down. Let him go on, let Santa go on to bed. Sancho Claus go on to bed. So anyway, guys, I'm not, it's only Wednesday night, about 11:30. It's pretty close enough to be doing a depressed collapsitarian whine. But I'm going to save that for tomorrow. I'm going to sleep on it, although I'm ready to go on one. So anyway, just a quick whine recap. My fucking computer has now crashed, and I've got some sort of steam-powered backup, but right now I have got no way to get into Collapse Chronicles. There's nothing wrong with Collapse Chronicles. There's nothing YouTube's doing. Is I cannot access Collapse Chronicles for whatever reason with this computer that I've got. And of course I have no Skype, so I have no telephone, but I think I still have access to Humpty Dumpty Tribe. I don't even know, guys. I don't even know for sure whether I'm going to be able to put this rant on. So this is kind of a test before I do a full whine tomorrow. So what I was planning to do today before heading to the goddamn Christmas tree lot was to do what I'm sure every other doomer has already done today. I'm quite sure that certainly Paul Beckwith, I understand, I'm getting the idea that Paul Beckwith is no longer speaking to me. I think I've gotten on Paul Beckwith's shit list. Paul, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry if I got on your shit list, brother. I am on so many shit lists. Anyway, I am sure Paul Beckwith and Kevin Sandbloom and probably Sandy or Antonio over at Environmental Coffee House. I'm sure Margot is talking about this right now. On the way to the damn Christmas tree lot, I turn on NPR, and it's their big story of the day. It's in the New York Times. It's in the Washington Post. It's in every goddamn mainstream media outlet. We're fucked. We're fucked. And of course, what I'm talking about is the Arctic report card, the 2018 Arctic report card, where half of the mainstream media today is talking about. We're fucked, people. You know, I can sit here and just repeat what every other doomer and mainstream media outlet has been yakking about all day. Is that dog and pony show still going on over there in Poland today? I don't even know if those fuckers, you know, I hope it is, to have the 2018 Arctic report card come out giving humanity an F. We got an F on our report card, guys. An F for fucked. We get an F for fucked on the Arctic report card. So I don't know whether we can go back to class and retake the class. We are completely, totally fucked. Pull your goddamn head out of your ass. You know, I actually managed, with all of my scrambling around in a panic this morning, unbelievably, with all of my computer and Skype problems, here in the collapse of global industrial civilization in my own life, I managed to get just enough bubble gum and duct tape together to somehow cobble together the high-tech gadgetry to have an excellent interview with the diva of doom herself, the doomer chick non-parallel, however you pronounce that word, Gail Zawacki. I love that name, Gail Zawacki. You know, she's this doomer chick, best known for all of her videos and stuff about dead trees. We got quite the laugh that a dead tree salesman for the Optimist Club was interviewing Gail Zawacki, the diva of doom, as global industrial civilization was collapsing around us. We were talking about, I'm afraid it was either before or after the actual interview, while we were just chatting between the two of us off camera, which of course is when the best stuff happens, is when the camera isn't running. I think we were talking about the Arctic report card. You know, Gail gets it. We're fucked. And she fully realizes this. And anyway, I highly encourage you to listen to that interview. Assuming civilization lasts until Sunday, I'm going to be putting that interview on Collapse Chronicles on Sunday, and then I'll repost it here on Tuesday. But anyway, I'm getting off track. It's the Arctic report card. There's nothing I really need to add to it, except we're fucked. And anybody at this point reading this news about how fucked we are, how much more fucked, much quicker than previously thought we are on this planet, then obviously I am having a failure to communicate. There's still, just in case anyone is thinking that Hambone is going over to the other side or whatever you want to call the ass-licking toady cult, there is no evidence that I have seen or that Gail Zawacki has seen anywhere in the Arctic report card or anything else that humans are going to be extinct by the year 2026. This is what Gail Zawacki has to say about anybody suffering that delusion.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
But anyway, as I think she said, we're going to wish we were extinct, maybe. Yeah, or you're going to wish you were fucking extinct in the year 2026. Oh, God. I wish I was fucking extinct right now. So anyway, I wish to hell I should never leave the goddamn house without my camera. But I made that big mistake because I was running late, and I had to take my crashed computer over to the computer repair geek before heading to the Christmas tree lot. So while I'm sitting there stuck in traffic going to the computer geek, I'm listening to NPR, and they're interviewing this woman. I think she was the lead author of the Arctic report card. And I'm sitting here listening to this woman just, for 10 or 15, it was an excellent interview. I was very jealous of it. So you know, the interviewer, whoever she was, did a good job. I'm not saying that. So I'm wondering, as I'm listening to these two women talking back and forth, the mainstream media, and face it, NPR is mainstream. The mainstream media journalist interviewing this climatologist, sounding kind of like Gail Zawacki. You know, well, for about 12 minutes, the woman sounding like Gail, that we are completely fucked. And then, of course, they get to the closing, you know, the closing 90 seconds or 2 minutes, and even they're on NPR, and they put on the little fucking jack-off happy ending. This, out of fucking nowhere, this woman, the lead author, or one of the, she do the lead, well, one of the authors of the Arctic report card, and knows goddamn well how fucked we are. The woman knows goddamn well we're fucked. We're not pulling out of this. It's not a matter anymore of if humans and every other species of earthling we share the planet with are going extinct. It's only a matter of when. And as Gail was saying, what I've been saying, you know, for the past 8 years, whether it's 10 years, 50 years, or 100 years, what fucking difference does it make at this point, guys? Our fucking goose is cooked, and we all goddamn know it. And this doomer chick writing the Arctic report card knows as well as anybody on this planet how fucked we are. That she's fucked. Everybody she knows is fucked. If she has any kids or grandkids, you better believe they're fucking fucked. And then in the last 90 seconds of this interview about how fucked we are, you know, I just refuse to give up hope. I refuse to give up hope that I'm still optimistic, that we're going to rise to the challenge. Pull your fucking head out of your ass. No one's buying your shit. I'm not going to call you a clueless fucking moron. You know goddamn well, woman, how fucked we are. Cut the shit. You know, I was like praying that this interviewer on NPR was just going to break in and say, "Lady, cut the fucking shit and level with us. Are we fucked?" God, I wouldn't that have been a great moment in NPR history? But no, they're just going to leave it. Let's wait to see the 2019 Arctic report card. Anyway, guys, I am whipped. I got to take Santa Claus on a, well, I was going to take him on a walk, but what do you guys think? Does Santa Claus look like he's ready to go out on a cold winter night? Or is Santa Claus, are you ready to go take a walk? Or are you saying, Dad, just wrap it up and call it a night? Tell the folks, smoke them if you got them. We all know why. Finish your goddamn margarita and come to bed. I think that's a wonderful idea, Sancho. I'm going to finish my margarita and call it a night. Smart dog. Bye, guys.